How do we know what is a lie and what is the truth? We know because of what it's saying to us, what it's making us feel. And I'm just going to go through this quickly because then I want to give you a tool of how to combat the lies, right? And bring in the truth. If this voice that you're hearing, this thing you believe about yourself, is condemning you, if it's making you extremely anxious, if it's making you feel like there is no hope for you, if it's making you feel like you don't have a future, if it's making you feel like you are not good enough in one way or another, if it's making you feel like you are not strong enough to do something that God has called you to do, if it's making you feel despair, that is not from God. And you have to renounce that. You have to reject it. Once I realized that, I was like, well, this is easy, right? If anything makes me feel that way, I'm just going to not believe it, right? Because it's obviously not from God. How does God's voice sound? How does his truth sound? It brings you peace, all right? It brings you peace. It makes you feel like you are good enough and you do belong. It does not condemn you, but it convicts you. So God may say, yeah, you are in this sin right now, but he's not saying you have to stay there. Like the devil might say, he's like, you're good for nothing now because you've done this, you're done. God will convict you and say, but you can get up because I've redeemed you by my blood. So God's voice convicts. It's not always going to say everything's okay, guys. You can just stay in your sin. It's going to convict you to go higher, right? What else? His voice will let you know that you're loved and you are good enough, right? It's not going to bring you despair. It's going to bring you hope, right? Because he has a hope for your future always. Now, how do we combat these lies? And I know I don't have too much time, but how do we combat these lies? Does anybody have an idea? This is something I started doing maybe a few years ago because I realized that all these experiences in my life and the things I had seen on social media, on TV, things that I felt about myself based on what other people said about me or how other people treated me, these things were running my life and they were not allowing me to step into the call that God had for me and to step into the freedom and the joy of just knowing I'm a beloved child of God.